It's James here from GoodGuitarist.com, and today we're going to play Love Me Tender by Elvis in a super easy way that cuts out all the tricky stuff. I already have a lesson where we play it just like the recording with all the tricky stuff. I'll put a link to that in the corner and down below if you're interested. Here we're just going to learn a good sounding simple strummer that'll also prepare you for one of my next lessons that I'm cooking up. It's a chord melody for this tune. So by learning to play it the way that we're going to do it today, you're going to have a lot of the stuff ready so that we can learn that chord melody next. By the way, there's a chord chart for this on my website. It's called Aura Lee for copyright reasons, but ultimately the Elvis song is identical. It was really common back in the day to just kind of lift stuff and rework it and like evolve it. I'm not throwing shade in Elvis's direction. It's a great homage to Aura Lee, and that's the name of the song on my website. Anyways, jumping in, we have a few chord shapes. We'll start out with our verse. It's C. Then we're going to a D chord. And we can also go to a D7 chord, which is kind of cool because you can leave your index finger down. You know, it sounds a little bluesier, a little cooler. So we have our C chord, leave our index down, go into D7. That. And then we have a G chord, and we can play G like this with our middle finger on the thickest string, or we can put our ring finger on the thickest string. I like that when I'm going back into a C chord. It makes it so much simpler. If you need more help tackling chord changes like this, I have a crash course. It's completely free, and it'll get you started on how to switch chords, how to learn songs. We learn a couple songs. It's like a 2-week course, completely free. I'll put a link down below for that. Anyways, that's it for our verse. Just C, D, G, back to C. And I recommend just playing each chord and counting along, downstrokes only, going 1, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, C. That's like my test to know that my chord shapes are good and I'm ready to move on to the strumming. So I recommend taking some time to do that. And then we can learn our strumming pattern, which in this case is very simple. So what I'm doing is I pluck the thickest note of that chord. So on my C chord, the thickest or lowest note is on the A string. So I pluck the A string, or I could even hit a couple strings. It's not a huge deal. Don't worry about being too accurate if that messes up your rhythm. Aim low and then get all the strings. And you just count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you move on to the next chord. And when you do that full downstroke, you can kind of like rake the strings. Instead of going and getting one sound, you can get that kind of thing. But once again, don't add that until the rhythm's totally solid. You know, if it makes you slow down or it messes with your rhythm, just do it in the most straightforward way. Now we do it 2 times like that, and we will play this together, so just give me a moment. I really quickly want to show you the chorus of this song. It has a couple different chords. Starts out on C, love me tender, then we go to an E chord, and for that I like to pay attention to my index and middle. I just move them up together, and that's like 2/3 of my E chord. Then all I got to do is put my ring finger underneath my middle finger, kind of budge my fingers in the right spot, readjust, make it comfortable. We got my E chord, love me true. Then we have F, and F is usually a bar chord, but we can play it in a simpler way like this. So what I'm doing here, I skip the thinnest string, index on the first fret of the B string, middle on the second fret of G, my pinky finger on the third fret of the D string, and then my ring finger just above it, third fret of the A string, and my thumb is lightly touching the thickest string. Doesn't have to be reaching way over the top of the neck, it's just lightly touching it. That's optional, but it does help the chord. It helps when you're strumming and you don't accidentally get that string, right? And you might want to practice going from E into that F a few times, you know, just silently switching, coming up with the order that you place your fingers in. Be consistent, do it the same way over and over again. And from this F, we go into C, and it's a really easy switch. We can leave our ring and index down, lift your pinky, and then you just move your middle up, and that's your C chord. You will have to readjust a little bit in order to get all the strings ringing out, arching those fingers, getting your thumb in a good spot so that your knuckles are a little more forward. And once again, you practice that section downstrokes only. 2, 3, 4, love me true, all my dreams full. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're at the point where we can take a look at the chord order, and we can just play our strumming pattern one time for chord shape, go through the entire song. So let's try that right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Love me tender, love me long, take me to your heart, for it's there that I belong and will never part. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill. For my darling, I love you, and I always will. And that's all there is to it. You can bring it up a notch by doing something with the bass line. Like when we play our C chord, first we hit the A string, root, down, and then on beat 3, we're going to move our ring finger over to the 3rd fret of the thickest string, and then do another downstroke. So our pattern changes slightly. On beat 3, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's more like what they're doing on the original recording. And then for the D chord, we start on the D string, love me true, and then the A string, and then for our G chord, the thickest string, never, and then the D string, let me go. For the E chord, we'll just go through all of these. That's our other bass note on the A string, and then for F, we would actually start here on the D string, and then the A string. So there's 2 bass notes for every string. There's your first one, and then there's the second one that you play on beat 3. And that is a great way to, really jack it up, really improve your picking and all that stuff. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill. And that's it. Like I mentioned before, chord chart on my website, completely free, along with all the stuff we talked about in this lesson. So if you want to go over anything, that's the place to do it. There's a link in the description for that. And stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment. And next time, or soon, we're going to do a chord melody for this tune. So practice up, and I'll see you then.